Yes.
I think it's probably going to happen in game 2, but let's see. Ashe is going to be the first ban. And Oshim... Wait, I did say they were going to ban Corki and then leave Tristana open. That was my prediction.
Yeah.
Let's see here as Pyosik, please find the Tristana button and click it. Now, we're already getting a lot of AD carries banned away. Marksman, I suppose, the broader term, especially with the Ashe, can be support. Corki goes mid most of the time. There's the Tristana.
We did it!
We did it!
Now what?
Leave it open after banning Corki. So Ezreal and also Talia going to be banned. BDD special, of course.
I'm kind of... Is it an early Azir pick? It's kind of what I'm looking towards with everything that's been taken away. As we do maintain the Sejuani prio. So the Sejuani to me is so interesting.
Oh,
I like this a lot more. I think this gives you a lot more flexibility. Because I feel like Sejuani, as strong as she is, also is a champion that just can actually be countered by stuff. And realistically, has a great counterpart in Maokai as well that I think you'd also be happy to take. I do think Maokai is a decent amount weaker as...
Azir Senna?
Yeah, that seems likely. And
I mean, Def loves his Senna.
I had to pick with the Nautilus.
Kalista.
I think you just go Senna, Nautilus. I don't think you overcomplicate stuff here. A Senna, Naut.
Yeah, I don't mind the Azir prio for BDD. The Kalista is very strong, but you are giving an insanely strong bottom lane alongside of that first pick Sejuani by doing this. You could just go Kalista Renata and say if you want a handshake in that way, you know the Renata's fantastic into Sejuani and Nautilus already, so we're okay to go for it.
Might be Nico as well if they don't end up going for the Nautilus. We'll see. That's definitely the pick I think of when it comes to Barrel specifically. Loves to play those style of characters. What is going to be the final lock-in here on the first rotation? So we're not going to get excited about anything until we actually see. There is, of course, also potential that the Sejuani is okay, well, never mind. I was saying Sejuani could theoretically also be flex support. You have a lot of flexibility with the Senna, but this is going to be Senna not, which I think should come as no surprise. As KT, they really highly rate the Leona. They've been doing this very consistently, so it's not surprising. But it's I agree with you. I think the Renata just feels amazing here.
Just feels like a great spot for it, but Leona's power level right now will be prioritized instead. And of course, I mean, it does have good synergy as well alongside of the Kalista, just not the same type.
Yeah.
And not as much like counter into some of the picks on the side of Nongshim. Still a good pick, I would say, in general. As the Yone going to be banned away, you saw them toying with like the Silas pick instead and stuff like that on the side of Nongshim, but I think Yone definitely the pick you would expect.
That's the standout. Sejuani's already been locked in, so I think I wouldn't even mind a Silas ban, honestly. If that's the direction you want to go in, just ban some of these melee mids that can really create a lot of problems for you as you get deeper into the game. Especially with Sejuani, right? The 2v2 becomes a lot stronger when you have someone with an auto attack reset. Might want to not let that one through. We'll see, though. Gonna be Renekton, I think, very much in the same vein for Meow, who probably is just going to lock Cassante if it's not taken away here by Perfect on R4.
Yeah, Cassante, the stocks are going up. Could be banned here by Nongshim if they give credit for Perfect picking it in the 4th spot and leaving counterpick to Pyosik, which not always something you want to do, but sometimes with Cassante left available, you can prio pick it.
The shout out.
Ivern, okay.
Okay, I like that from KT. They've been paying attention. Do have Azir and Kalista. It's not quite as insane as I think with double-A character. Tristana obviously is kind of the, as she is in many things, kind of the standout way. Would make a lot of sense when it comes to Fisher's champion pool.
Just play a Kali here.
I mean, I would love it. I think playing an assassin, though, into Ivern is kind of feels bad.
That is pretty int, yeah.
Because and there's also the Leona, which does have a harder time than like a Nautilus would to lock down an Akali, but still will have some tools. Cassante makes the most sense here. It does kind of make me worry that the comp won't have enough damage available. See what Meow is going to pick her. This would definitely help with that. I don't think Sejuani Aatrox is like an amazing combo, but there have been a lot of top lane bans. So a lot of the things that you normally go are have taken a pretty considerable hit. Looks like it's just going to be Cassante here for Perfect, which makes sense, but it's going to be rough into the Aatrox when it comes to the laning phase.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, though, it is a lot of comfort for pretty much every top laner in the current meta. They all know how to play Cassante. Some are better than others, but Perfect is great on the pick. Unfortunate for him, he wasn't gifted a Rumble. They had to ban it on the red side. I feel like that's his best pick. But either way, pretty interesting. We see the Ivern coming out here. Generally, we saw it in double marksman comps, which are almost all comps nowadays, but because of all the mid lane marksman bans that we had in this game, specifically on the side of KT, it just gets picked for its power in general. I mean, they still have the Kalista, but it's an Azir in the mid lane. So pretty interesting to see Pyosik pull it out in this game.
I also really like when you're playing Ivern into like relatively low damage comps, and there's only 2 carries on the side of Nongshim. So if they start falling behind, it's going to be really hard to reliably get the damage necessary to actually chew through these shielded up targets. As I'm really excited to play Swarm. Fellas, I can't wait. It's going to be fun because they have
yes. I was like, what did you see?
Yeah, no, it's all the.
Did you see something on the sign about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll enjoy playing that. As here's the comp for the side of KT Rolster. Definitely a very fun and cohesive composition. We'll see if it does work out here for game number 1 as we hop onto the Rift. Well, here we go. Game number 1 of Nongshim up against KT. Will we get the 3-game banger back and forth? Nongshim challenging a top team again. I mean, I say that KT's tied for 7th. Or will KT just come in as the favorites and win?
Well, I gotta correct myself, actually. I was thinking that Maha was playing Cassante, because if you've watched Maha on Challengers, you'd know why.
He is Cassante.
He really is, yeah. But the Aatrox actually does help with some of the damage issues I think the composition of Nongshim might run into, particularly with the Hui-Senna combination. Like, obviously gonna reach a point eventually where they just take over games. But that is a good amount, and even later into the game, I think that Hui in particular really wants to get multiple rotations of spells off. That's the main thing that I'm interested to see, to what extent Nongshim is going to be able to play that out here, because I really like the composition if they can just have their beefcakes in front and have Fisher just lob a lot of skill shots at KT, because KT, obviously they have the shielding, but I think eventually you are going to be able to chew through that. They're early to mid-game though, particularly with this Ivern and Kalista can be really explosive.
Hide on bush.
Yup.
And then not hide on bush. Hide out of bush.
See as well what Guger is going to max here. I'm sure our resident support player Orcs is anxiously waiting to see.
Yeah, I do wonder what the max is right now for Nautilus. Because I remember with like, what was that support item? Bloodsong?
Yeah. I imagine
like Emax, and you were going for a lot of power and damage.
Yeah.
In the mid game.
I imagine that you'd still go Emax just for the relative value as...
well, yeah. Beryl does eat a turret shot, kind of unfortunately, but the idea is still good, trying to pressure after hitting level 2.
There's definitely one trade for Nongshim, though, once they get the level up. Although, there we go. It's actually, it's pretty even. We do see Pyosik making his way through his jungle. Ivern obviously can clear quite fast, given that, I don't remember the last time as we saw Ivern in LCK, but if you're unfamiliar, if you know, just tune in like, who is this weird tree guy? He's a friend of the forest, so he just walks by camps and then he tags them, and then later on he walks by. It's like, hello. Which is why
and it does sound like that too.
He does actually sound like that, yeah.
Ooh.
Which is why, hello. He's currently at like full clearing, 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
And might be looking for a
Unless
play
you're
here.
In which case it's 3 minutes, 30 plus. We're just diving the turret, and you know, level 4 Ivern, pretty good at doing that. And you see that Ju totally zoned away from the wave. Guger's still here. as they do want to go in for this one once again, as Ivern is going to tank it up, and there's the damage. First blood with the ignite does go over to Beryl. And nice juggling of the turret aggro here from KT and a great dive.
Really looking good here is KT right from the get-go. Pioshik using the tempo you get from the fast clears, BDD.
Uh-oh. And, well, he just used that, so he's going to have to flash out of this one. And there's the flash. No kill. Fisher also low. Couldn't really posture very aggressively. Here comes a very big rotation up from the side of KT as the roots are in, and Sylvie has to flash himself. You can see that Pioshik wanted to continue on that, but not going to overplay his hand. As once again, KT get a nice win.
And Sylvie, I think, could have definitely gotten the kill there, but then given the roam that would have come through, he definitely would have just immediately died. And that's a really strong 1-2 punch. So what happens is Pioshik gets a full clear, dives bot, and then immediately runs towards mid to save that play as well. Good flash from Jiwoo. If he gets locked down, he definitely dies. And then Gugur hooks back here, so feels relatively safe. But he doesn't actually get the auto off from Beryl. Wouldn't have mattered because Pioshik took aggro early on because he's not in range of getting CC'd. So I think really nicely done there by KT. You already highlighted the juggling. Also means that Jiwoo needs to show up mid to help out Fisher, who did take a bit of a beating from BDD earlier. The one good thing for Nongshim is that Miao is currently proxying. The bad thing is that Pioshik is on his way, is getting pinged out as well. So this proxy not actually going to come through. And Aatrox's early wave clear isn't really as strong as some other champions where you can just like clear that wave and then still get out. So he just needs to abandon ship. I'm going to get that proxy off and not going to have as much pressure on Perfect, although still doing great here, which is good because I think he needs some wins as level up.
Yeah, Perfect. He calculates that perfectly, funnily enough. And Miles is going to have to flash away. And early on, going down a flash here up against the Cassante. Perfect knew he was not in danger at all. And he is going to be able to push this wave in as well.
And that's actually thanks to Pioshik showing top, right? Because Mahao had to run all the way around, which meant that Perfect was actually able to make us back. Like, neither top laner has left the lane, lad. So it's not like there was an opportunity for either of them to fall behind in XP. So big win there. Main thing is that it allows Perfect to have a lot more kill threat on the turret and set up for Pioshik possibly, but Miao not going to be able to play nearly as aggressive. I imagine he's going to go for an early cleaver, though for now is just going to go towards the steel caps. As might have a fight on our hands here, but Mahal needs to catch that wave on top first, and same for Fisher, so I don't know how much Nongshim can really do here.
I mean, they are posturing pretty far forward, but already one of these grubs is going to go down. It's going to turn into a 4-on-4. BDD ready and waiting with his ult, and now the Hex Flash comes in from Beryl. That is an Aatrox in a bunch of trouble, but has the World Ender, and now Beryl taking up a ton of damage in the front line, but so is Sylvie, and Sylvie will be the first one to go down as Beryl. Oh no, he gets sniped. I thought he was going to get out of there. Also, another grub did go down to the side of KT as they get the cleanse here out of Jiwoo, and he is in a lot of trouble as well. Down he will go. Level 4 Senna, not able to do too much at this point in time as they give the kill over to BDD.
And Beryl staying alive there is absolutely pivotal between Eclipse and the Aftershock. Leona stays alive for so long because that's what denies the reset to Mihao. And by the time they do get the kill, eventually with the Hui, the fight's already lost, so Aatrox can't really pop off, as Mihao is the one that gets engaged on here, but that's not the end of the world. The problem is that BDD just gets to get so much damage off for free, and you can see the Nongshim health force is not really ready, and Fisher this early on also just doesn't do that much. Same for the Senna. And then Nongshim, fortunately, in the chase, get taken down. Jiwoo, nice attempt, but like even if he didn't get knocked back, would have ended up going down. Nonetheless, big wins for KT here early.
Uh-oh. Banana Brush control here for KT. And they're going to hold on to it. First Drake Infernal. KT want to stake their claim over this one if they can. Pioshik might just come over and use Daisy to help take that one down, especially after Beryl helps clearing out all the vision. Would be pretty huge for KT if they could get all three of the grubs and the first Drake and really put on a lot of map pressure early on in this game.
We'll have to see to what extent they can unlock BDD and Death. I think they both have great early objective take. One of the big weaknesses of Ivern's is that his neutral takes suck. Like, he can't really solo a dragon the way that a lot of other junglers can.
He's got Daisy. He's not alone.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean, though. Have you tried taking an objective as Ivern by yourself?
With Daisy.
Even with Daisy.
not alone.
No,
Sylvie's just going to take the drink instead.
you need actual teammates. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. Do see Sylvie, as pointed out, he actually has a pretty decent time between Permafrost and the health damage of W, so gonna shoot for this relatively quickly as are we setting up for a dive towards the top side. Pioshik does have Smite, so should be able to get the blue buff at the very least. They did know this was going on, and then the question is he gonna play towards top? Doesn't really look like it. I don't think you want to risk it with an Aatrox, and especially with Pioshik's topside being up. As I don't know if they spotted him actually with the control wards that were there.
Pioshik, this is the catch-up moment. All those camps just primed and ready to become friends. Gets in, takes down 3 camps in the span of 15 seconds. Here's a 4th one.
It really makes sense that Pioshik is playing Ivern. Like, out of all the junglers, I'm like, yes, he would.
Yeah.
He is that guy that's willing to play a lot of creative stuff. Always has been. Early here, just from laning, you see a really substantial lead, and most of that is bot lane. A lot of this has also been the isolated 1v1. I already feel like Gugar on the Nautilus not really... Like, I know he died once, but he immediately TP'd back. So that's not where this disadvantage is coming from.
Yeah.
Really need a lot more money on the Nautilus for him to actually be not just a support, which is what makes his combo so strong. KT showed us. They're still the only team in the LCK that was able to take a game of Genji in between spring and summer. So, oh, Sylvie.
Well, he's going to run into a lot of CC here. They don't have much damage, but might just be enough to keep him in place for long enough. As now over the wall, here comes BDD. Didn't even really need him, but he helps a little bit at the end. As Hui Fisher did throw his ult in, but not able to help out too much. And so that's just another death here for Sylvie on the Sejuani.
And this again goes back to the fact that it doesn't feel like Nongshim has any laning pressure. I feel like this is a jungler's kind of your worst nightmare, where like your lanes are just getting shoved in, so you're just getting perma invaded. Like particularly towards the bot side of the map, I think you're really looking to try and at least have a little bit more pressure there, but it just doesn't really feel that way. So Barrow can just roam, just get himself a free invade towards that bottom half and just be waiting for Sylvie here. Right, like Deft is literally already roaming up towards Krugs in case there is a rotation here. So not all that you can do, as you point out, don't even really need BDD. Sylvie, unfortunately, not tanky enough for that one. And Nongshim now, 2.5k. Feels like a little bit lifeless. They're going to need to find an amazing team fight to try and come back from this. But unless Mahal really pops off, I don't know if they have the damage to do so, Valdez.
Yeah, it is pretty rough to do that. I mean, especially, you know, you've got a lot of AoE damage here with the Hui, but you just have redemption ready already for Pioshik. And yes, we do have Zeke's here for Sylvie as well, but just feels that like that early redemption spike in team fights can be so huge. As now they're going to get the engage on a Sylvie once again as the follow-up ball comes in, but Daisy, I told you he was a friend, he is going to block that one, and now we do have the kill on a Sylvie. Down will go a bunch of people swept into the team. That's just going to be a double kill here for Deft. As Fisher, he's getting flanked by Perfect, who ran behind the turret just to bully the Hui. As the Blast Cone is probably going to do it to me again, isn't it? Oh, nice blocking here, but eventually the fear comes in, and Fisher only survives because of a random Blast Cone in the jungle.
Okay, to be fair, he did actually play that well. He made sure, you know, he did the manipulation. You guys can't see Valdez's face. He manipulated his position, you know, Perfect tried to follow him. There was some happy feeding going on. And I can't believe you're defending Asante, Valdez. That's very disappointing. As we take a look here, Barrow has been absolutely on point with his engagement, and we're really seeing why the guy has a skin on the champion, why the priority from KT is so high, even though Barrow never plays his own skin, unfortunately.
Daisy MVP.
Yeah, I think Daisy did a whole lot, but I also think that Nongshim probably should stop trying to engage on the Leona with, you know, Callista being there and Eclipse and Aftershock. As I think this is a great game right here. It was well done. But I know you disagree, fellas, and that's okay.
Yeah. I do.
One might also say that Putting what has been your generally and historically your best player on Senna doesn't really feel like it's working out. And like Meow and Fisher, they're both doing fine. Actually, that's good. That's something. It's not enough, but you know.
Yeah.
It's rough, Veldas. I'm trying to find angles, but
Hey, I mean, Bro lost game 1 in 23 minutes, and they came back and won a game.
yeah, I don't think KT is jet lagged though.
Yeah, but
I
they're
feel like that.
KT.
So they're always.
I mean, they're always kind of out of sorts, regardless of if they're winning or losing.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a good point.
Are they gonna? No, they're just creating room. As Ivern has a real friend in BDD to take down the dragon. I hope.
So
Yep.
now Daisy isn't real anymore. I'm joking.
Why is that?
Because you were saying a real friend. In
Oh,
BDD.
I see.
Therefore implying. I mean, maybe Daisy isn't real, and Ivern is just, you know, he's a really strong psychic, and he's like making us all believe in Daisy. He's just willing her into existence.
Yeah, like Faker earlier showing us the Yasuo.
Exactly.
That was
yeah, it's
really
like
cool.
the projection.
Yeah. Well,
Can we do something here?
they're gonna try. I mean, this turret isn't even okay. It will go down, but now we got a TP from the side of KT as well, and Deft is not dead yet. He tries to flash into the Aatrox, and finally he will be taken down. As now with the TP and everything, Noshim just have a huge man advantage. Tanaka will come up from the Cassante, but even Cassante isn't crazy enough to get out of this one. A nice play from Noshim, as they will pick up 3 kills.
That's a 3 for 0. I think you'll take that. Might get a bot side turret as well out of it. And KT getting caught off guard. There's Fisher. He was 100% dead there. Very clean with it. Gets the fear. And all of a sudden, it's still a freaking gold lead at 15 minutes, but it's more playable than it was, Veldas, and that's a win.
Yeah, it's about to be cut down a bit here as well. We're going to take this bot turret, get...
Mile is actually quite big, actually quite fed. So the starts are very aggressive with Guga just going in, and this is why I was hoping for more aggression earlier on. The key thing here, though, is that ward, because without Meow, this would have been a disaster in the 3v3. Don't think they would have had any chance of winning it. And then no TP on either mid laner means that this will just be a man advantage here for Nongshim. Really big win. Getting gold onto the Aatrox, I think, is huge as well. Sunlit Sky now done here for Meow, as KT will pick up the Herald. And also, I want to reiterate, I think KT have a composition that up until we get to like the really late stages, say like 35 minutes plus, then I think they might actually start struggling. Because then I think you start losing a lot of the value of the Ivern, because you're going to get to the point where Gio and Fisher are just going to have the damage. But that's 20 minutes away, which is an eternity in league time.
Yeah. It is quite a length of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty lengthy. And KT just going to group up in here, look to push down mid. They do have the Rift Herald, so Beryl, if he did want to use it, he could. For now, he's just going to hang out in an Ivern brush as he pings himself, probably. He's just waiting in this bush.
They have no idea. They have no possible way
Hide on bush.
of knowing Barrel's
wait.
in there.
Did he avoid vision? No, there's a bunch of pings there.
I think they know.
But it's in the it's in the river though. Okay, now they know 100%.
Just making sure that they really knew.
All right, he's back in another bush. Never mind.
Really, when you think about it, Ivern is just there to enable Hex Flash. And Barrel has actual Flash available right now, so he doesn't really need the brush. He can just Flash normally. But once that Flash is used, you know, those brushes are going to get sick value, Veldas.
Yeah. Very true. I think Barrel's very much enjoying himself in those brushes.
Also, Jiwoo rather is looking at, like, maybe he'll have 50 souls at 20 minutes, which is not where you want to be, as TP comes in to defend this turret.
Well,
I don't know where that was going.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, Perfect did go unstoppable, and he dashed the other way, so maybe he thought he was going to dash
like a predict.
towards Notion.
Yeah.
And he wanted to peel for it, and it just looked really silly, but
I do think with Sejuani is one of those champions where it's easy to not look bad by just not throwing ults, but I'd rather have people just, you know, throw them into the net. Or as someone who's played Sejuani and missed a lot of ults, I can definitely relate.
Chronicler's lying. He doesn't miss skill shots.
I would love to say that was true. Unfortunately,
I've played with him before. He doesn't. It doesn't happen.
Then how do we lose games ever, Valdez?
Our teammates.
Okay. Yeah, actually, good point.
It's League of Legends. I mean, it's not us. It can't be. Has to be everyone else. Yeah. Well, Barrel's going to go in, and he's got Daisy, the real friend, to help out. And you know what? He's providing a really great front line. There's not a lot of damage into Barrel, and now they have Redemption, and he's going to get healed up. And there's the Fate's Call as well as CP is coming in, and Mihail now might just tear Barrel apart, but he's still alive somehow, flashes away, and finally goes down as a lot of damage comes in. The divide is not great. It's Perfect also going to be ulted up here, flashes on top of BDD, and Giu's getting a lot of value here out of that Senna. If that hook hits Deft as well, maybe he goes down, but it's a pretty good fight here for Nongshim.
That's still a colossal win, as you're saying. Mihail is insanely strong, has the Black Cleaver done, and that's going to be Mountain Drake going over. I want to, again, remind everyone, KT have 2 carries. So if you actually start stacking Mountain Drakes, Nongshim do have a shot. This alone is not enough, but I feel like Barrel, all those earlier plays kind of got to him. Actually, Giu gets the 63 souls, so still not great, but better than what we were looking at early. As we take another look here, and I do think that this makes a lot of sense with how a lot of the fights have been going. So Barrel uses the Iron Q to get over to the wall, but Sylvie at this point is relatively tanky, and then Giu crucially doesn't actually get knocked down. So you just get the front to back here. A lot of damage goes into Sylvie, but he doesn't really matter. And then Mihail does a whole lot of damage. I want to look at this Q that he's about to find here onto 2 people.
Well, bam.
And that forces a flash. And if BDD doesn't get that shuffle, things might have gone even worse. If that hook hits on Deft, even with the cleanse, he might have been in trouble as well. Exactly.
Yeah, he's dead.
I think KT actually got off relatively scot-free, and they're still up a good amount of gold. I don't think that they're still close to hitting the expiration date of the composition, but if you do that like once or twice more, we saw it earlier with Breon today as well. Like, you cannot underestimate Nongshim if they just get to play this very classic front to back.
Yeah,
and KT aren't really playing the map, and I feel like that's when Nongshim really struggle.
Absolutely. I mean, well, absolutely to that part as well. Maybe not as excitedly, but I think that the comp really benefits from each individual Mountain Drake, even the New Age Aatrox as well.
It's good Aatrox. It's fair.
Aatrox the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's a bruiser, you know.
I mean, he was basically unkillable in that last fight. If Deft is not constantly hitting him, and BDD, I suppose, he is going to just heal through everything.
At least he doesn't two-tap people anymore. That's
while also being super tanky.
Exactly.
Just as tanky.
Yeah, that wasn't very fun. Right now, though, we have no objective on the map outside the Baron, which I don't think either team really wants to do, although KT have a really quick Baron, so if Nongshim overstep while pushing this turret, it could be in some deep trouble. They need to be careful.
Yeah. Daisy going to be called out here, and you see that Nongshim just very scared of Daisy.
I do love
I would be.
Daisy being piloted by like a little alien. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's adorable. My God. That's amazing. Look at that.
Isn't that kind of like rewriting lore, though? I don't think Daisy is normally...
Well, no, it's because it's a skin, right? It's a skin universe, so
piloted by an alien.
I think normally she's a golem.
Yeah. But not in this skin universe, I guess.
Nope.
And BD wasn't even there, by the way, when they were pushing mid. It was just, you know, the illusion. Daisy was there, just standing there, and they're like, that's a little, you know, not sure about that. They do have pretty nice poke just with Hui. I mean, Hui, that is one of his strong points. But, yeah, they just decided to take it safely. It's been a pretty balanced game in terms of action. We've had some moments, but for now, it's just a little bit of a lull state. Nongshim not over-pressuring, just happy where they're at. Just vibing.
KT still have a good amount of time. I think the timer we set earlier was very apt, as in that post 35 minutes, you're going to get to the point where both Senna and Hui are going to have insane amounts of damage. And KT, if they lose either of their carries early on in the fight, And there is a lot of lockdown for Nongshim. It becomes really hard to play out. Mountain Drake's also going to play a big part in that. And you see as well, like already Criploom second here from VDD. I imagine he's just going to go for a Death Cap next. Maybe he'll go for Stopwatch, but we'll see what he ends up going. And then Deft, I imagine, looking at getting the Terminus next. Just a chew for what is going to be some very tanky frontline with a Senna as well. Like, it's important to note that between Warmogs and the Senna healing, we're gonna hopefully be looking at some healing reduction. And I know there's what's gonna probably be double Thornmail, but I don't know if that quite covers it.
Yeah, it doesn't really, especially if, you know, you got some of those frontliners who are not really looking to attack Leona or Cassante. I know it does happen a lot in our games for some reason. Mostly just because Leona will just really get up into the front line and almost force people to attack her. But yeah, I mean, ideally you want to be hitting those guys that don't have Thornmail.
Ooh. If KT win this fight though, and they get a big team fight win, they get a Dragon and they get the Baron, I think they're completely vibing. Mid lane turret still being up though for Nongshim is actually a really big win. Yeah, same for KT, but KT also still has their outer turret in the top lane, and I think that their objectives have taken less of a hit than Nongshim's. We do see Wei consistently spotting out who's hiding in those brushes. It's a big fight, Vel, that's about to come up here for this Dragon. Possible soul point for Nongshim.
Whoa. Very nice flash from Pyosik, and now Barrel's going to get in there as Guger got himself into a rough spot. The Fate's Call just to reposition Barrel here as he throws himself back into the front as BDD is going to find Fisher, but the follow-up a little bit slow. He is surviving. Finally, he will go down, and the redemption keeps BDD alive for even longer. And all the while, Deft is just raining down spears into everybody in this one. Meanwhile, Mahio wasn't even there. He was just zoned the entire time by Perfect, so it's a huge team fight win over to KT, and they want to bite off more.
That's the fight that KT was looking for.
You guys can't stay here. Oh, they're just trying to defend this turret. That's not really going to work out for them, as Barrel will just die to the turret. Just Barrel things, you know? And they will take down the mid turret eventually, as you guys should go for the Dragon here. That's the best call. So
Fisher is going to TP in. I wonder if... No, I don't think they'll have the time. I'm like, can maybe they stall with Fisher until Mahal TP's in, but I already think they have the ward set up, and no, we're going to see instead TPing towards the top side of the map. This is actually surprisingly close. So it starts with Guger almost finding the hook on Pyosik, then he flashes, and then they go in here. I think a really big part is that Mahal wasn't actually in that fight because he was taken out of it. First he has to flash away, and then I think Perfect later on is going to zone him. It looks like it's just one here because Fisher doesn't have flash. But again, the fact that you don't have the Aatrox reset, yeah, that ult from Perfect was super big. Because if Mahal gets like another Q or two off, if he's actually in that fight, I think Nongshim might have a shot with Sylvie, or with Jiwa rather, still being alive. And you see, actually does a good amount of damage. But instead, you take away what I think was the most fed member on Nongshim, like level 15 Aatrox on 2.5 items. So really nicely done there by KT, really important win. By itself, not enough, but they are still in a very comfortable position here. And again, I kind of expect that to continue as Dawn Core done now for Pyosik. That's not an item.
Yeah, that's not an item.
Ever.
I was looking at that, I'm like, man, I haven't seen one of those in many, many years.
Yeah, if I remember correctly,
it wasn't around.
So it gives AP and ability haste based on mana regen.
Yeah, they're just doing the Baron here, and that's going to be the Ivern for the Smite. And now we do have the front line getting pretty low on the side of KT. Pyosik is very low, but he's eating so much of this damage, and even Mahal on the Aatrox not able to survive for long enough, as Fisher not going to be feeling too good about frontlining on the way, as KT, they get the Baron and 3 bonus kills on top of it.
And right there is why Ivern is so frustrating to play into. You think you get close, you think you have the reset, and maybe Mahal can pop off, but it's just not enough. The shielding, the healing to come through. Everyone on KT ends up staying alive, and if Mahal doesn't get the big resets, if he can't buy space,
oh boy,
the fights just aren't going to be won. Yeah, I think that fight in mid, that was maybe surmountable, but KT, cool, calm, and collected, immediately follow up with going for Baron, and this is where I think the difference between, you know, like week 2 KT and current KT, I think they actually play this out very cleanly, very confident. And here, Pyosik, yeah, he gets low, but as long as he doesn't die, it doesn't really matter. Guger not really that beefy, and the rest of Nongshim. At this point, I think you, at that point, should have just tried to like hard commit and just run it out and see what happens. But you have half the team going in, half the team being like, oof, I don't think we'd take this fight. And they were right. I think that's going to be game one now, firmly in the grasp of KT. A 10, almost over a 9k gold lead here. Should be insurmountable for Nongshim.
Yeah. And now from ahead, the Ivern just feels like the value is just insane. I mean, the shields that he gives, you know, you remember that buff, that big buff on that patch that Ivern got where we were like, oh, we're going to be seeing Ivern all the time. I think it was at the beginning of spring, actually. Not 100% sure. Maybe it was last summer, but it's you just have shields up all the time. It's just gigantic shields with 3.5 items, and everybody is tanky now. So, you know, maybe lacking a little bit of damage, but if you never die, then Kalista and Azir are going to be two of the best at just staying alive in team fights forever.
Wei also needs a lot of rotations to actually get through any of them.
Yeah.
Given that Fisher hasn't really been able to accelerate. And then Gio, I actually love the Serpent's Fang. I think that's a great buy, especially together with the Executioners, but it's just not enough damage. There's not enough time. And KT looking to go to a very comfortable 1-0 lead here. A lot of cooldowns being thrown, but not a whole lot being found, Valdez.
Yeah, and if you're ever in doubt, you can always head back to your giant bush farm that you've got back there. And now Barrel's just gonna pull the trigger on the engage, force the flash out of Guger, as now they're trying to engage on a Cassante. That's how you know things have gone horribly wrong. As that will go to the turret now, and we got the front line coming in. Perfect. Oh, he's just got everybody up against that wall. And he might go down. Even Ivern not going to be able to save him, but the Nexus of Nongshim will be the one that goes down in this game. Mahile surviving for about forever, but it just does not matter. KT pushing in as they run out of the Baron buff, and they are up against a Hui. I'm not sure it's going to matter here, Chronicler.
As BDD, yeah, he's just flexing on them.
Yeah. Just dabbing on the haters here as he does take down another member of Nongshim, and they're just going to gather around the fountain. Just that extra bit of BM as they look for that one extra kill. It's not going to happen. Down will go the Nexus as KT will take a clean first game of the series.
KT, there's a couple of moments there where it looks a little bit dicey, but I think they kept their cool. They didn't really feel like they were ever truly in danger. It always felt like, yeah, you know, is the lead big enough? But I think we really saw why the moment that you take a fight that isn't optimal against an Ivern, like there's just nothing you can do. Shout out to Ox, actually. He texted me the specific stats that Pyosha got with that Dawn Core. It gave 22.5 healing and shield power and like 93 AP. So that's actually, yeah, no, that's a lot to come through there. So I'm sure Pyosha will get his I think that Beryl to me was the standout in the early game, but the team fights in particular, I think Pyosha really had a great game. And really, I think anyone on KT had their moments perfect, had the really good fight in mid. BDD and Deft, I think self-explanatory, just got to output a lot of damage in the fights. And Nongshim, unfortunately, they did look close, but in the end just couldn't really pull through.
Yeah. A really fun game for those two, I think. The giant shields given over to BDD, who just got to stand there and wait for his moment and then make big plays as well. That's going to be game one going over to KT Rolster. We're going to take a break and have the space. We'll be right back.
소원 막을게. 앞에부터. 형아 공 써줘.
아,
너가 돼. 뛰었고. 나 허용 안 돼.
나 큐브 맞춰야 돼. 프로 안 떨어질 거야.
아, 가볼래? 끝났어. 형은 조심해.
아,
얘네 풀 좀.
네.
얘네 후에 노플이만 해. 나 이거 피 좀 리전할게. 이거. 나 이거 풀 볼게. 그냥 끝내. 안 닿았다. 안 돼. 풀 볼게. 끝났다.
와, 0018 뭐야? 깔끔하네.
I think a lot of windows that a lot of players will be accustomed to that are kill windows just don't exist when Ivern's there. Even more so than with traditional enchanters, right? Like just the Lulu. Kind of need to learn how to play around that as well. This is very similar. We'll see. KT might just keep the prioritization on it, as they are going to probably just ban the same thing. If you ban Tristana, I feel like Corki just naturally follows as well. As,
So
Azir taken away.
Nongshim give their POG vote to BDD. So they're alongside a middle media there. I don't agree. I think that BDD is totally fine if he bans Azir. In fact, I think he doesn't care at all. As Corki is going to be banned here once again. Same bans, different order from KT. The Sejuani first pick. And what's it going to be this time? Wouldn't be surprised.
What will it be? There is actually a good amount of the highest priority mets already taken away. You can go towards stuff like the Yone. You can also get really weird with it.
You go Ari-Vi.
Yeah, or LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Work really well,
That's fine.
depending on what BDD prefers.
I don't think that blind Yone is really...
No, I don't think you want
I don't think you want to
Also
do that,
with
especially with
Vi.
Vi. Yeah.
I don't imagine that's
It just
the
feels like that's
angle.
the... Okay, this champion doesn't exist. Wait,
Ah.
that's not a champion.
Okay, maybe the Azir band was good, actually. I take it back.
Well,
I take it back.
I was like... Yeah,
Huh. Yeah, that's not the combo I was looking for. It still works, right? You can, if I can go in, it's a good ball delivery system, but
And what if you pick Ivern again? Wait, they already have Vi.
yeah,
I was like, wow,
Yone.
so many shields. Yeah, this is a good angle for Yone here for Fisher, especially with the Sejuani on their side.
Okay, I got it. You go Yone, Renekton, and pray that it don't ban Ziggs. Easy.
I mean, Ziggs isn't the only AP champion
Well,
that can be played in the bottom
Let's be
lane.
honest, it's the only one that's going to get played in the LCK. I know that we can play other things.
Remember
in
when we had the awesome dude meta and we had like Vladimir and Morgana?
Yeah, and I would love to see.
Cassiopeia.
I would love to see Swain. I would love to see bot lane Karthus, but we both know it's also Karthus obviously also just got hit. I don't know how much it's gonna matter because I think that the draft in last game from KT was also not perfect. It was good, but I don't think it was necessarily like top level when it comes to strengths and synergies, but it worked out very, very well. Deft is going to try and trick another media member into voting for him with the collect. He had a great game, don't get me wrong, but he was very much just, he was there. And he didn't get killed, or he didn't get killed like in a lot of the fights. He just played out his lane well. He had the little oopsie towards bot side, but it's against the Nautilus.
Needy was
so
very
it's gonna
impressed about how well he laned against Nautilus.
happen. Yeah, I think Guger has not had the best of time.
So I feel like a Leona ban should come out eventually. Otherwise, we're just going to get Kalista Leona again because you're not giving them Ezreal Leona. Yeah,
This
okay.
is the most obvious.
I am
Leona
picking
R4.
Leona.
Guys, we're picking Leona.
So now for Nongshim, I want you to find the Leona and ban
They're
it
not
away.
gonna. I feel like they're just gonna ban like Nautilus, or I can feel.
They'll like ban Rel or something.
ban
We're like,
Nico.
wait.
Wait, hold up.
Well, they banned Renata Glass. That one's good with Kalista. What else is good with Kalista? Not Gnar.
I told you.
It's not Gnar. Gnar isn't good with Kalista.
I told you, man.
Although maybe T1 would play that at some point and prove me wrong. And they're not even going to pick it. Okay. Well,
I guess
let's just throw everything out the window.
now Nongshim pick Leona. That's even Jason's like typing like Leona question mark.
Yundo.
Oh, Yundo's typing. Where's Leona? And we don't.
Where
know
is Leona?
I mean, maybe it just doesn't get Like, it's Ezreal Leona.
Yeah, it's like a game of chicken where, okay, if you don't ban it, then KT almost definitely are going to pick it. And then if you don't pick it, then almost definitely Nongshim are gonna
Okay, so no, then Barrel just has a great R5 pick. Like, I trust Barrel to just pull out something crazy that is going to make this happen.
Because they know 100% that they're playing Leona.
For sure. I think Aatrox is fine. I'm kind of thinking, like, I would actually love Gwen. I think Gwen is really good into Cassandra. I think it goes well with the Sejuani, and you do really need AP.
But that's not a champion.
Yeah, well, I know they're not going to pick it, but I would have liked it. That's not what I was thinking towards. That's more like it. Yeah.
Taric,
we'll see.
Seraphine.
We're not going to get baited in by Barrel. It might just end up being
I don't mind the Braum at all.
Honestly, I like the Braum a lot more.
Poppy's a similar vein.
Yes!
And it's just Taric! Just...
Woo! I told you Barrel was going to do it. Oh, Barrel. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar, Kalista Taric is actually insane. Like, that's a really good 2v2, because Kalista can hop forward, activate the stun. It's also a nightmare to play Leona into Taric. And I think a lot of what Nongshim have is really telegraphed, right? Like Yone ult, Leona engage. Sejuani is a little bit more snappy, but
even then it's like, okay, you know,
I love the Taric. That's actually so good.
Well, this is what happens when players in the LCK, like Barrel, don't only commit to one specific meta, and they say, hey, there are certain picks which are amazing into those comps, and I don't just have to pick the top tier pick. He didn't just have to pick Rel or something random there, you know? Like, the Taric makes so much sense, and, you know, generally it's not a great pick, but in this specific situation,
I love it.
It becomes amazing.
I'm a big fan. We'll see. As we have
only
some global
26K
fans there as well. We'll see what Barrel's KD is going to be by the end of this game. The one thing that is a little scary is the Ezreal. I do think that Ezreal is one of the picks that can reliably both like poke down, which is one of the weaknesses that Taric comps can have. But man, dive potential, it's great.
Game 2.
I'm just imagining Valdez, Pioshik ulting in, and then whoever gets ulted also gets hit by like a ball, and then Deft throws in Barrel, and then Barrel also stuns you, and it's just... It's a very bad time. Oh, we're going to get the graphic with the last time Taric was picked. It's going to be like, okay, okay, let's do it. Everyone in chat, join us. How long?
The Price is Right.
Don't look it up. How long? How many days?
I feel like it was played last year at some point. I'm going to say 312 days.
I'm going to say 820 days.
Okay. Well, whoever's closer
I mean, I'm not going to game it, right? I'm not going to say...
wins a prize.
Like one day, like, because that'd be sick.
You should have said 313.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's actually the way to win.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Which is all that matters.
I'm okay, Jisun and Yundo, they're also joining about 700 days. So we have 300.
It was played last year, though. Somebody played it.
We have 300, 800, and 700. And I'm sure everyone in chat would know.
I said 312.
Yeah, okay.
Not
without looking it up. Yeah, but if it's close to 300, you'll be right nonetheless, Valdez.
When it's 312, I want everybody to know that I said 312.
That you exactly said that. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Because we know the graphic is coming.
Yeah.
It's on its way.
It's being made right now, in fact.
Okay, I got Wolf with 950. I got Dagon with 299.
That's the American show.
Yeah,
he knows how to play the game.
Yeah, and then Dan is or Ox is 543. So we have a good spread.
Yeah.
Of when was Taric last played?
Here it comes. 718. So it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago.
Jisun and Yundo.
You losers. Oh my God.
I was relatively close. I was not too far off the ball.
I was so convinced that it was last year, but it was actually Snowflower.
We even had
2
Atlas.
years ago.
Atlas with 311. Oh, it was Was it Life or Snowflower? It was one of the two against the other. I think it was Life.
Oh, it was Life.
It was Life.
Okay, it was
yeah.
Life. Okay. That makes sense. And then he went to the LPL. Well, not immediately.
Yeah, he did leave us.
Eventually.
Oh, that was. I'm like, wait, that was when Snowflower came back. That split. That was.
Yeah.
That was not great.
Yeah.
That didn't really work out, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, you gotta try everything, including Tarek.
This
feels like a much better spot for
I
it.
thought you were going to draw the historic parallel between Snowflower coming in and Googer coming in.
Yeah, we always make the Bible reference.
Yeah.
Not to the book, but to
The
the
player,
player
yeah.
Bible. So one thing that Orianna does really well is lane. She is one of the best laners, and it used to get picked a lot in a bunch of metas just because you basically don't lose to anything that's meta.
Literally Lost World. She was like, her and Azir were very far ahead of the rest of the curve.
Yep.
When it comes to picks.
She's not really, well, she's definitely not meta right now, but we had so many mid bans. Once again, Azir, Talia, Tristana, Corki, all taken away in the first round. And besides Orianna, I mean, we were thinking like the Ahri could have been chosen just for the nice synergy with the Vi. I mean, Orianna also has synergy with the Vi, but a little bit less kill potential, a little bit less CC, right? So, pretty interesting that he digs deep for, R2 Orianna.
What's next? Zoe? I remember that
champ
champion.
doesn't exist.
Well, you said that about Orianna. She's on my screen, Veldis. Fisher is really struggling, though. And I do think that this is a matchup where you're not supposed to go even, but I feel like he is really taking a beating. And just when it comes to consistently hitting CS, not really able to make it work. Obviously, our golden standard when it comes to this is Chovy, so that's also a little unfair.
Yeah.
So we do have the junglers both already gotten in their first back. Sylvie obviously is going to have a much earlier power spike because he's buying a very cheap item. Top side, we had a little bit of a risk there. Pierce was actually hovering towards top, but I'm not sure if they knew whether or not Mahal had warded. If you do end up 2v2ing early on against Sejuani Aatrox, you're not.
You're losing.
You're not winning that, yeah. Not going to happen, especially pre-6. Post-6, I'm like, could probably make it happen with the isolation, but not going to be the case.
Trying to make a play here, but everybody's level 5.
That's
so
cute there. Sylvie making sure that they actually get it. I don't think they can actually make it here in time, though.
Might be able to fight afterwards, but oh, the flash out of the Leona here. Beryl with the killer instinct on the Tarek. Not even the right champ as Cougar now flashing away, and Deft is just going to get in there and try to collect first blood, but now immediate cleanse. Deft is struggling, but he does get the first blood and immediately does get traded back, but still 400 gold does go to the pockets of Deft.
I don't know if that's really worth it. Like, obviously getting the first blood is good, like that part's great, but you invest full summoners for your bot lane, and yeah, you get first blood, which is nice, and it goes to Deft, which is also a win, but you also lose the full wave on bot. So I don't know if that's worth it. This was nicely done though. They actually, I think, used the vision of the ward in the Ghost Rider, and then are able to take down, or rather get Cougar very low. But like Deft is just kind of, I don't think he should have went that deep necessarily.
He just, he was inspired because he got that one vote from Right Media in the last game, and he's like, you know what? I gotta do it for Right Media. I gotta get first blood. I want another vote.
Oh, I did get it.
He just wants to be noticed.
It's also, it's not the end of the world, right? Even with that, I think he was able to catch most of the wave. It's the Deft timers are still relatively low, so it's still a KT favorite trade, but it depends on whether or not Nongshim's going to be able to punish this lack of summoners. If they do actually get another skirmish, could definitely be a difference maker. See if that ends up happening. Maybe nothing happens, and then KT is just going to take their win and be happy about it. As we do have a lot of great and really, I think a lot of people would say only good dragons still left.
Yep.
Which is very cool.
It definitely does feel like Chemtech and Ocean Souls are the two weakest. Obviously, it depends on the game and the situation, but
Ocean, I think, has actually a lot of, it's very swingy.
Yeah.
It's either really good or it doesn't really feel like it does anything.
And then Chemtech's only really good when you've got like a lot of tanks or like a Renekton or an Aatrox is like okay, but generally you'll like something else better.
And now we're continuing. Yundo votes for Hextech next. We're just gonna try and guess everything in this game.
I'm gonna go for Cloud.
We're crowdsourcing. There's been a lot of clouds. I'm going Infernal.
I feel like Alice is watching over us today.
Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher is very dead. He's gonna get his ult blocked here. Does hit 2 people as now Sylvie desperate to try to help him. As over the wall comes back Fisher. He is behind 4 people. Even Jonah Strong is confused about where to go.
Yeah, just die. Just execute.
Wow, Chronicler toxic.
Well, no, but it's good.
Just die.
It's a good death.
Chronicler 2024.
It's a good death.
Uh-huh. The death is fine. A little jump scare here for the crowd who's going crazy.
Guys.
And Fisher just backed, so yeah, no, he's fine. But the rest of the guys down here on the bottom side, not very fine. Way too deep to try to get deft or something.
Nongshim, you really don't have to give over leads like that for free. You kind of want them to work for it. Fisher just backs.
Yeah.
I know that BDD wasn't
He wanted to deny
involved
Chronicler the joy
in that play. Well, Fisher getting out there is actually quite big. I think the execute would have been completely fine, but he doesn't have TP, so him actually making it back is quite nice. I think because of the wave, plus the fact that he did have a lot of bushes to hide in, it kind of can waste a lot of time if you don't get him. Or if he just executes, you know, it's kind of a double bluff. Where if you're like, oh no, I'm going to execute them, it's not worth for them to actually continue. As Barrel's just walking by.
It's like, yeah, it's like the Nidalee thing. You just run into the lane, heal him, and then run away.
So unfair.
He healed him again.
Yep. It's not cool.
Well, we're going to take another look at this.
I don't
mean,
want to.
So they think Deft is alone, I guess, but once you commit here...
Okay, actually, the idea behind that play is great, because Deft doesn't have sums. So if you have Sylvie and Gyu right there with you, that's a good play, because then you lock him down and he dies. But they're not there, so you can't go in.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. And now the sums are about to be back up. And now Deft, you know, one of those kills, fair enough. Other one of those kills definitely shouldn't have gone his way.
Yeah, just an awareness thing, a communication thing, you know, still trying to work out some of those issues on the side of Nongshim with this relatively new set of guys in the roster. See Guger trying to stick around here. Would be nice if he could hit level 6. Barrel was able to do that and then immediately left the lane and doesn't want anything to do with the bottom lane anymore. Every once in a while we take a look at top lane as well. You know, they're still fighting each other. But not much else. That's a nice knockback and a turret shot taken by Mahal, but not going to commit to too much more is perfect. Yeah,
perfect. Sitting on a decent amount of gold and doesn't have that much mana. This could be a good angle.
Yeah, BDD's actually in a lot of trouble here. He does have the flash, but he is going to get a very nice shockwave. It just dodges the follow-up from the Leona. He's totally fine, actually. And now the Taric ultimate coming on in. You're not doing any damage to that, as the timing very nice here from Barrel. Waits until they absolutely need it. And then the turn comes in. Another kill under the belt of KT.
BDD didn't even have to flash.
He just walked it off.
Mahal shows up, but they don't. Yeah, they don't have Sejuani, so I don't think they can really do a whole lot here. I think Nongshim wanting to fight for this is understandable. There are 2 ultimates, or 3 ultimates down rather, on KT. But with Guger's health bar, the fact that they also invested a good amount themselves, I don't think there's really an angle here. As the ward will cancel Guger's back. And I hope we get a replay of that, because I really feel like...
Why is Yundo always right?
Yeah, wow.
It's also, Soul.
It's so fun. I love Hextech Soul. So, that wouldn't have even really been a big difference. Like, I think the problem there was they tried to get the guaranteed E-proc, and then with that, if you get the E-proc, like, there's no way that BDD ever lives. But by doing so, I think it would have been better to like just ult him, force the flash, and then you could try and pivot away from the play. But instead, Sylvie flashes aggressively. They get the E-proc, but it's too late. BDD still gets to use his ultimate. And now, Game slowly starting to slip away from Nongshim yet again for a couple of unfortunate skirmishes. 2 Drakes going over to KT as well, and if they end up picking up a Hextech, so I don't think they have like anything insane. They don't have like Ezreal, Nidalee, you know, even Azir. I think are the type
Orianna's
of that
pretty good with
Orianna's fine, yeah,
but not like S.
but that's my
as you're
point.
mentioning.
Even when it's not that good, it's still insane because of the ability to hasten attack speed.
Yeah.
Like you still get so much out of it, and the fact that you have the slow is always going to have a ton of value. So for Nongshim, that next dragon fight is going to be a must-win. We'll see if once Mihal join, maybe they can make something work. But thus far, it's looked a little bit disjointed here.
Yeah, absolutely. KT looks like they should be able to take down at least 2 of the grubs. We'll see if Mihail wants to make a play for this by himself. But no, it looks like it should be 3 to go towards KT. Koshik gonna take all of those down.
Tragic.
Got him. Meanwhile, Fisher's just alone.
That's nice.
With the turret.
That might get them a plate.
1 plate? Yeah. Not bad.
Actually, I thought BDD was going to TP towards bot, but maybe he doesn't want to because I think they spotted the fact that Sylvie is there. Cougar is also there, so he would have definitely died if he did. Good read there from BDD. Still going to be a plate. Nice nonetheless.
That was the 1 plate that fell in this game.
That's really interesting, actually.
That's really rare.
Huh. Didn't expect that. I thought KT would have gotten like 2 or 3 plates just, you know, by existing on the map. Especially
like,
mid. BDD was shoving in every wave.
It just felt like a lot of times the trades got the players pretty low, I guess, and like fully committed to a long trade, so they had to back afterwards. Either way, just 1 plate. TP to the bottom side here. Gonna hold on to this turret.
Interesting. I'm trying to suss out what's happening in this game. I don't know, Veldas. I'm trying to make it fun. There's not a whole lot going on.
Fisher and Sylvie want to do something. The issue is, I mean, it's just incredible how much value the Taric has in this game, especially from ahead. It definitely feels like a win more kind of situation in this one, as we do have the Sejuani being fully engaged on, and now the Yone gets the full turn as the Taric ultimate comes through, but you're already so low and the TPs are raining down from both sides. Perfect trying to frontline, and now the Ezreal and the Aatrox have an angle here as BDD and Perfect desperate to try to get some kind of kill. Finally, the all-out comes out onto the Aatrox, the one guy who was not low enough for Perfect to kill. As now it looks like he's just going to try to run out of this one. Might be able to as the flash comes in. Jiu does not want to put an end to this one. Gets the flash, and now the turn comes out as Beryl is going to go down. And Def trying to frontline here into Jiu. Doesn't have enough damage through the barrier as KT baited into sticking around so that Mihail can get more hits into them. As he wants to get 1 more. Woo! He's going to have a chance here on a Def, who is going to get knocked up and eventually does get taken down. Nongshim chased them forever and turn the fight in their favor.
Oh, Veldas! You called it at the top of the day! Nongshim, that is everything you could possibly want. KT don't actually end up using the ultimate. And like, they know Fisher's there. So this is the one trap, I think, that you can get with the ultimate of Taric, is like wait for the perfect opportunity. So what happens is Beryl doesn't activate it. And like, at this point, they have no health. Like, yes, you're alive, but you're not actually part of the fight. And then here, the rest of the team just doesn't have the health bars. Everything else shows, or everyone else shows up, but it's very messy. It's very skirmishy. And Nongshim is able to get a whole lot of value out of that. Then this play here, my God. The fact that Jiu somehow survives throughout the barrier. The fact that, look at this, after this, he's forward.
Yep.
Veldas,
He knows
he's insane.
He knows he's safe. They use everything. Everybody's low. Depth won't have access, so he's like, hey, I gotta layer in 1 more Q. It's just a smart play. Somehow Pyoshik is gonna get the Rift Herald. I guess it's in trade for this Dragon here. Nongshim wanting to stack up those Hextech Drakes early, which does make sense, but KT are getting a lot of gold to immediately come back in the game now. So 1 Drake to go to Nongshim. but KT sticking around in terms of gold parity.
Second game for Mio as well. I feel like his Aatrox has actually had a really big impact in these team fights. We'll see the Herald get the charge. First turbo going over to KT. One of the things we haven't really talked about yet, because we always talk about Taric as like an anti-dive tool. You can also try and use it offensively, right? Vi can go a lot more aggressive than normally if you try and use it. So maybe they're going to try and look for something that we used to see with the Nocturne Orianna, right? Where you just have Vi going extremely deep, and then you can't target her because of the Taric ult, and then BDD can just ult on top of that. That requires a coordination that we think we saw with KT in game number 1. I don't think there's any cause for concerns for KT fans. That statement in of itself might, you know, be cause for concerns.
Yeah, it's fine, guys. Just relax. No problem. Like, they're definitely not going to lose this game
to
and then lose
Nongshim.
the series.
Okay, well, I don't want
that would never
far.
happen.
As we do see the question mark pings going down there. Did spot Pioshik. Could have been a big catch. Fisher doesn't want to overextend in the side lane. And I think Fisher has really been, not necessarily a stand-up, but I feel like he's been really stable, which is something that the previous Nongshim mids have always lacked. Like, between Fiesta and Call Me in particular, I think both of them had really, really rough times in laning phases. And yeah, Fisher fell behind early, but right now, you know, within a wave, I think we'll be like, what, 2-3 CS if he catches all of this? So definitely no cause for concern in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a fine spot. He has the 1 kill. He got the plate and bot. He's probably even ahead of BDD in gold at this point. Well, I don't know. It should be kind of close, I guess. So even CS, there's a 1 turret to BDD. Either way.
Yes.
Yes, interesting. We were denied a lot of action, I feel like, but then we got a lot of action that was just very long and drawn out and crazy.
I actually think, yeah, game number 1 didn't really deliver. I think this is I think we're slowly, this is the portal to Challengers territory where we're just going to flip Elders and it's going to be a complete fiesta of a game. I can feel it, Veldas. I think we're on the precipice of it.
KT would do that. Even if they're intending on winning, it's just, they like to make it interesting.
And I know Nongshim isn't a challenger team and hasn't been for a year and a half, but you know they still feel that way, which definitely isn't a good thing. Don't get me wrong. That shouldn't be the case. Just want to make that clear. So we set up another trap.
Any combo enjoyers?
Any traps?
Yeah, this one. Fisher is going to just unbound soul, as now we do have it coming out, and the stun as now Pioshik is going to go in, and there's that offensive nature. He goes in, but there's so many members of Nongshim still here as the Sejuani ultimate comes in, and the Yone is dragged out of position, but they still get the Cassante down. Esmeralda going to have to walk on an awkward angle here, in a bit of trouble himself. And they have to use the Fate's Call as well, as now he's going to throw himself back in. They get the kill, and a chance for Death to extend this, and Beryl is still alive on the backside of this fight somehow. Pioshik doing Krugs is like, wait, we're still fighting? And he's back. And now we have the flash in here from the side of BDD. Still on the chase is the entire team, as Pioshik just going to smite him down for the kill. And now this is the perfect Kalista moment. Everybody's super low. They're all running away from you. And Deft is able to pick up a final kill.
Oh, and now disaster for Nongshim. It's KT. Put their sights to, this is a very early Baron, and Gio is there. We'll see if he alone can make it. Oh!
That's fine.
I don't know if it's fine, Veldas.
We got Taric.
They're behind Nash.
He's hitting, he's healing.
That's a little dangerous.
Taric's hitting and he's healing.
I think they should leave.
Okay, he's gonna leave.
They leave.
They're gonna leave.
Good. That could have gone from great to very... You know what? It might actually be better for Nongshim. I think they now will have the ability to push in mid and get first rotation to Drake. That can't be the takeaway from that. There's no way. The Hex Gates, I think, will make it a lot harder to really keep control of this area. Nongshim, like, I hope we get a replay. We won't have time right now. Oh, that's a big cancel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. That probably is soul point for KT. Fisher can TP in, but I think KT are really going to push the effort. Yeah, that's going to be it. Wow. Perfect. Like, Fisher actually, this is, I don't know if this is I don't think he knew. But he gets the Q-free interrupt on Pioshik. Then BDD goes for a one-man ult. Nicely flashed on the stun there. And then this is the aggressive Turret we were talking about. And this fight is won and lost by either side, like, repeatedly. Really good flash from Pioshik. They should have just been happy with this, right? You get the kill, just play it slow. Just play it slow. Sylvie goes in, gets baited in by the Fate's Call, dies. Then Goober goes in, dies. And then now all of a sudden, you know, your Aatrox is out of resets. Mahal dashes in. Guess what? Dies.
Dies. Yeah.
They really...
I'm learning.
That Milkshake and Fisher again, like really cute here as well. Gets the mystery. It doesn't matter. They don't do damage. He doesn't actually have tools to get on top of the backline. Doesn't have his ultimate. So now Soul Point is there for KT. That really is the only takeaway. I think KT could have gotten a lot more out of that if they hadn't gone for a very ill-advised Baron. That ended up not backfiring, but it was a little scary there, Valdez.
Oh, a nice sidestep here from BDD. Also going to miss that one, but he can't get out of the Yone ult. That's going to do the trick as everybody and the kitchen sink gets thrown into BDD, and they do take him out.
Nongshim's like, see champion, kill champion. Missing ults, doesn't, oh
Do
god,
Baron.
now it's them. Well, Pioshik gets the back, but he can get her very, very quickly. I don't think that they're gonna, they might get it, but it's gonna be a flip. Pioshik doesn't make his way over.
Oh, they want to engage onto the Taric, but it's Fate's Call to come through, and Perfect TP's into this one. So they do get the TP. Will they continue on the Baron? It looks like yes, they will.
Oh, it's a flip. It's a flip, Valdez!
It's just a flip. It's just a straight up flip. Okay, they're gonna stop damage. Stopping damage. Waiting to take the fight. The Taric ultimate used expertly. The timing is fantastic as now they're putting in the damage, but the spike goes to Sejuani. Sylvie to get it down in the flip. And it should go all the way on Nongshim. Even Perfect not gonna take out Jiwoo here. And it's BDD to do it, but it's still Nongshim that win the fight and the Baron to their side.
That's challengers, baby! Oh, a pure 50-50 for the Nash. Goes the way of Nongshim. KT that could have avoided the whole situation if they didn't try to defend, and even with the sidestep, nicely done. Fisher honestly having a great performance on the Yone, allows Sylvie to get the passive off. These Sejuani first picks are really paying off. And then they try to, like, Cougar, there is a Fate's Call. You can't do that. If Depth is his ultimate, but it doesn't matter. They still get them away from the pit. And then here, actually think KT have the right idea, you know, use the ultimate on Pioshik to ensure Sylvie and the gang actually getting out of this pit, I think is nicely done, but it's a pure 50-50. It was 11 or like 10 or 1,093 when it gets smote by Sylvie, so very nicely done there. And then here, Jiu, just take the gate. Just take the gate, my guy.
No.
No, he didn't. And that gives
dies.
and actually takes away a lot of the tempo that they could have had. Still though, Valdez, I think Nongshim is looking good. The main question is, can they turn this into no one getting caught inside and actually getting the next dragon? Because it's Nongshim, and I'm a little scared that someone's just gonna get caught and die. And I don't want that to happen. I want to go the full distance, Valdez. You called it.
There we go. They're going to get on top of Fisher here as the CC chain comes in perfectly, but he is able to flash and get out, so not so perfect after all. But they're at least able to get the flash on him and stop the push from coming down. Still a minute here on this Baron. Already 4,500 gold is the Red Bull Baron power play to Nongshim.
Well, that's actually a really good play from KT. So you get the flash out of Fisher, which is big. You also get free ultimates for Nongshim, whereas Pioshik was the only one that used his. That's a good back cancel. We'll see if that's enough. I think by 30 seconds, the ults are going to be available again. So that's not going to be the end of the world for Nongshim, but they won't have the flash on Fisher, so repositions won't be available for him. And we're seeing already that even with just the resistance items, he was quite tanky. Now actually gets his Jack shows as well. And I love this from Nongshim. They need to fight very aggressively to ensure that they keep control of this pit. You can't risk the 50-50 this time around. You can't give up the soul. Even though I know that spawns Elder, and that's a great objective to have.
They're very excited.
I don't think they should give them the opportunity. KT is pretty substantially behind when it comes to the items. 3 item spike for Yone in particular. Can Nongshim win the fight, Valdez?
I mean, they're in a favorable position to do so, I would say. They do need Fisher over here. And KT, you do have the option to just drop this as well. Let's see what they want to go for as the sun goes in, but that's Leona as two-shot barrage gets it, and that's the angle from Fisher. Pretty huge, and now Deft in the front line, speed flashed on, but the Turret ultimate timing is very good. He is going to stay live, and the Yone ultimate in the front line, the huge shockwave from BDD might just get the trick done, as now you've got Perfect finally able to frontline. Down will go Barrel, but he is nothing compared to Perfect on Cassante. Jiwoo still alive.
Can they get Warmox?
Still trying to kite this one out, but he is going to avoid the knock-up here, but BDD just does way too much damage at this point in time. The follow-up comes in from KT, and that should be, you would imagine, the Hextech Soul to KT.
Oh, Nongshim! They get so close to killing that, but I think they were in a great position if they played that slower, wait out the ultimate, and leave it be. Oh, Sylvie, he's trying, but yeah, I think Perfect. He's the guard. Standing there. Oh, Sylvie, you gotta try, you gotta try, you gotta try, you gotta try. Just Q in.
Nope, too late.
He doesn't have flash, so he does die. Well, on the plus side, Elder spawns now, Velda, so that's something. As we take another look, I think Nongshim actually had the right idea as they just sit here and poke and prod, slowly play this one out. And then here, you're so close, but Deft is just barely able to get in range. Does end up not going down, and then that shockwave from BD. Oh, absolutely incredible. Deft not going down, I think doesn't actually, like, it looks good, but the moment that Freeman shockwaves hit is what wins the fight. And then here, yeah, Sylvie, Guger desperately try to maybe get a the Warmox back up. You see Sylvie actually regens a lot. Here for Jiwoo, I actually wonder if he couldn't have just arcane shifted towards the turret and stand behind his other members, but I don't think it would have made a big difference. BDD coming up absolutely clutching that one. Now the Hextech Soul here for KT.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge power spike for the side of KT. Obviously, they're still down in gold here. Nongshim enjoying a lead in that facet with their big Red Bull Baron power play that they had, but still, the Hextech Soul is going to provide a lot more than just that small gold lead at this point in the game. It's kind of funny, too, because you were talking about, you know, waiting around, poking game, patient, collected from Nongshim, but the second Deft got chunked, they all just kind of sprinted at him, you know? Yeah. And the issue is they were all on the choke against BDD, so Right Media is still voting for Deft, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I'm glad you're getting us ready. Okay, KT, just don't flip unnecessarily, okay? You have Hextech Soul. Play it out slow. Just use the power of that. Don't unnecessarily flip.
Flip it. It's KT. Challengers, baby.
Don't do it, KT.
No, it's fine. It's challengers, baby.
They're gonna. We know it's happening.
Everybody is taking damage right now.
Oh no!
Sitting there. The Tarek ultimate, though, once again is huge, and the front line from Fisher this time is just not good. And now they're able to turn onto the Baron. An easy smite for Pyoshik. And now, 5v4, they are running at them. The Hextech Soul helping out quite a lot. Jiwoo once again trying to be the one guy holding this team together. But I don't think he's quite able to do so as waiting. Jiwoo has to flash away already. And BDD just waiting with that ball for a potential shockwave at this point in time. Didn't have to use it onto Fisher. And that's going to be the turret, the first one in mid to go down.
KT able to get the, and this is where you see those longer fights, getting a ton of value out of that Soul. BDD doesn't even have his death cap yet. Like, once that is finished, he's going to become an even bigger menace. Gold is relatively even. We're going to reach the point, though, where Perfect's going to be extremely hard to kill. As we take another look here, it actually, again, looks so good for Nongshim. Like, look at this. The health bars are low. Meihao is on the flank. Yeah, he's spotted, but that's not the end of the world. But Fisher, Pyoshik gets him with the ultimate, and then he just dies. It's very straightforward, unfortunately.
And there's no trade back, because Barrel ults at the same time. So
yeah. And
that offensive ult we talked about.
If that's Guger or Sylvie, the fight is actually playable. But Fisher is the one guy that can't get caught. I think Fisher up until this point actually had a decent game, but that might end up being All that KT needed as... That's a KT gold graph. I don't think that should come as a surprise to anyone.
Yeah. And not very high and low peaks.
No,
you know?
this game has been very even. But I think the combination of Hextech plus another Baron should be huge as... Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's Ezreal. I mean,
yeah,
he does do a lot of damage, just in general. Like AoE damage in team fights, he's spamming a lot. But unfortunately, it's not quite enough to get the team across the line for Jiu, who's having a good game, but not able to carry at this point in time. So the push coming in from the bottom side.
We got a flank ward.
A minute left on Baron.
Oh, they got a one flank ward that's not spotted right behind them, and then a deeper one that will get spotted if they end up going in. Doesn't look like they want to use it, though. 40 seconds on the Red Bull Baron power play. Bot lane in it being down is quite big, although, to be fair, you want to go for bot lane push anyway, because Elder spawns in about a minute and a half. KT really won the mid lane as well.
Yeah, mid and bot would be huge. As you mentioned, top would be best, but ooh, nice stun actually. Def gonna jump back into it. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he still has cleanse as well.
Yeah. And so that's 2 inhibitors down here with the Red Bull Baron power play. 4,000 gold as well go back into the hands of KT.
All right, as long as KT doesn't unnecessarily flip Elder and lose that flip, I think... Don't give me the finger guns, Elvis. I think that they should be completely fine from here on out. It's really hard for a short-range composition like Nongshim to win fights if they don't get a flank angle, especially against Taric. And I think with how they've executed some of these fights as well, we can see that they're a little bit unsure as to how to really deal with this. But we'll see. As
good ward.
Good ward.
They just know.
Risk. But look, BDD has death cap. Like, he is chunking people out in seconds.
Yeah. And that Oblivion Orb actually feels very nice.
It does.
Like, he's got that little bit of extra gold. It's going to be perfect for the next fight. Also, you're dealing with Aatrox mainly, but even the Yone
guys, someone
as
needs
well.
to go mid. Like, someone needs to go mid and catch that wave and then TP in. That mid wave is, you
nope.
can't just, no, but you can't
just ignore it.
Okay, there we go. You can't just Elder. Okay, so we're going to send Meow back. It's going to clear the wave. Does he have Death Dance? Could actually be quite big. Able to pick that one up.
Looks like
okay,
no.
but Aatrox doesn't actually clear that very quickly. Well, as long as you can kill the supers, I guess they're fine. I think KT just pulled the trigger on this now. Like, really go in on this aggressively.
The second the True Shot Barrage sailed past, they started it. And now TP used by Fisher here, and now by Mihail, but it's a little bit late. I mean, this Elder, it's already so low, and they don't have any vision, and it's just gone. They just take the Elder Drake away from Nongshim. And now the Taric Ult's gonna help out excellently here. Pyoshik gets pretty low, but he is the only one. BDD as well, actually being hounded by 2, but this game is over. The Elder goes to KT, as we have a triple kill actually going the way of Pyoshik as well. And we are going to have a 2-0 here from KT over Nongshim tonight.
Oh. And KT fans, I'm sure at no point in that game felt any form of stress for Nongshim. You can see that's a rough loss. That game felt like it might have been in their grasp, and it just wasn't to be. KT, they got the Dragon, they got the Baron, they got the Elder. And they're going to get the 2-0 here. Happy faces as KT continue their redemption arc. Come on, KT.
All right, they're lining up. Nicely done. Good picture there at the end. Excellent form. And that's going to do it. KT, they get the 2-0. Deft wins the production POG vote. We'll see who actually wins the POG vote. And yeah. KT, good stuff tonight. Obviously some stumbles, you know, some fun KT roller coaster moments, but it's still a clean 2-0. Nothing to see here.
It actually was. You know, there were some moments.
Mostly, yeah.
I think like 10 minutes of game 2 that felt a little bit dicey. KT continuing the upswing. Perfect. They played Cassante. They did it well. Wasn't ready to stand up. It didn't need to be. For Nongshim, I think the main thing, in a positive sense, is that I think Mihail actually looks, they played 2 games at Aatrox, but I think he looks a good amount better. Pyoshik, very happy. I think for KT, you can see as well, you know, this is not enough just yet. Gotta keep getting those wins.
See, that sign says mom.
Well, I don't know the meme. I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Happy Deft.
Yeah. Everybody's just got smiles, you know, no big performances from Pioshik or anything. I thought he was going to do like a Vi celebration, little uppercut or something, but not meant to be. Not this time.
And it makes sense as well. You know, Nongshim, I feel like Nongshim, Brion, those are the teams where if you win, you take the win. You let it go. I think the draft priority from KT, this is when KT was good in spring as well. This is how they looked. And this is something that all the way back to 2022 DRX as well, the willingness to go for things like the Ivern and the Taric. I think it's something that, barring T1, a lot of our top teams in the LCK really miss. I think neither Hanwha nor Gen.G are necessarily known for going really off the walls. The play, I'm sure Supreme and Hirai have some notes as to how some of these mid-game fights were played out, but they were able to secure the objectives. And I think mainly in how they set up, a lot of these objectives, you can really see the difference between these two teams.
You definitely can. There were some good examples, as you mentioned, in the same game. Just because Nongshim was ahead at a certain point, they were trying to do the things that KT then eventually did better later on in the game. This was really the big turning team fight where Deft is going to pick up POG for baiting the whole team. No, but actually it is going to be the Shockwave that comes in here, perfectly timed, and excellent dodge from Deft as well. And this really turned it, because just a big overcommittal from Nongshim trying to kill a very low Kalista did not pay off.
Perfect, doing a good job here as well. This is something I really love to see, because it's something that in theory we always talk about, but when you have a character that allows you to displace enemies and they actually zone the enemy jungler, because that should be a no-brainer, but
Yeah.
we've all seen moments where that isn't really the case. And KT, very nicely done. Big win here for them. Not an unexpected win, I think, particularly after what they were able to achieve against T1. And then looking ahead as well, they got BNK to play up next, which definitely should be a very, very doable opponent. And then DRX. So KT, the upwards trends continue. And then by the end of round robin 1,
Gather for a group photo.
they're going to be, I think, pretty much where we expect them to be. As
The vibes are good. I mean, this team lost four series in a row. Giving a thumbs up. Also, BDD and Beryl discussed taking the Krugs while the enemy, while they were pushing in to end the game. They're like, "Hey, you want to take this?" They're like, "Yeah, let's take the Krugs." Jiwoo, he's trying, but you know, it's just Nongshim.
Give Jiwoo's the light arc, man. Please, next year, someone's got to free this guy.
I'm sure someone will. I mean, he definitely does obviously show that he can win in games where they're not winning, and when they are winning, he's oftentimes the carry, but not this year.
Absolutely not.
So KT with the clean 2-0. Nothing to see here. Let's hand it over to the space to break down this series.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the POG interview translation, joined by Pioshik and BDD on the side of KT Rolster, who secured their 3rd consecutive victory. Congratulations! Thank you. This is your 3rd win streak. Wow, what a cool appearance, you guys. It's like the Anima squad right here. Hold on tight, because KT's going up. You got your 3rd win streak today. How do you feel, Pioshik? I feel like we started off pretty rough. But now that we are on our 3rd winning streak, I am very, very happy. And BDD, how do you feel? Yeah, we had our moments in crisis, but I'm really glad that we were able to win. And yeah, shaky started the season with the losing streak, but from defeating OK Savings Wing Brion to T1 to Nongshim, you're on an uphill. What are your thoughts on your current form? Since we defeated T1, I feel like we are in a much better spirit. And I feel like all of our form and what we have been working on is really showing on stage, which is a positive thing. And in the Esports World Cup last week, Ivern had such a positive impact. And we saw you make the most out of this pick today. So how would you describe the Ivern's strengths? I feel like what really enables Ivern's strengths would be a good mid laner and AD carry. And Pyoshik, you fast cleared your jungle and you had great sustain, but what really paid off was your expertise and how skilled you were. So just how much did you practice? I feel like, I had a lot of practice put into the champions that I played today. Yeah, so that's how you had 100% kills participation and got your POG. And with Ivern being such a great late game champion, the synergy with Leona was nice too. So what allowed you to scale so stably? I feel like what happened during the jungling and just all the support that I got from our support Beryl actually did pay off. And BDD, as a mid laner, how does it feel to play with such a reliable jungle? I feel like, it's not just like a jungle champion that was good, but Pyoshik, who was such a good contributing factor to our victory. So yeah, he's quite reliable, which is nice. And it looks like in game 2, our low master Beryl seemed to be contemplating on the last pick and ended up going with the Taric to pair with the Kalista. Where did this pick come from? Beryl tends to find like a hidden gem in the champion pool. And he had been contemplating and putting in a lot of thoughts into it, and then he ended up picking this really good pick as a Taric. And BDD, in game 2 with the AD mid-champion bans and the deny on your Talia and Azir, your first pick was Orianna. So what's the recent buff what affected your decision? I feel like no, it wasn't really related to the patch. And even in game, I definitely did feel that she was really strong. So maybe the patch actually did take part in it. And Pyoshik in game 2, Nongshim really unreleased their potential and gave you a really hard time. So which part gave you the decisive edge? Yeah, so at around 28 minutes, BDD had such a great ult, and I think that was what gave us the win. So yeah, we have to replay this highlight. I feel like everyone would agree that this was an amazing ult, so can you walk us through this moment? I feel like there wasn't really much I did here. How did you even find this crazy ult angle? I noticed that our Vi was looking at the Yone really well, and then she really set up this ult for me. What a great team atmosphere here. And at the end, we saw you line up for a nice family photo. So Pyoshik, to you, is KT like your family? Yes, of course, they're my family. And BDD, what about you? Yes. They are in fact my family.
아주 좋습니다. 지금 KT 롤스터의 경기력이 올라오는 이유가 무엇인지 그게 바로 느껴지는 것 같습니다. 자, 이렇게 해서 3연승에 성공하셨고요.
I guess we know now what really put into the team atmosphere, the family-like atmosphere. And now your next opponent will be BNK Fear X. Are you confident that you will get your 4th consecutive win? Yes, I would believe that it will be easy.
많은 팬분들이 응원을 오셨는데 기대감이 높아질 것 같습니다. BDD 선수는요? 각오 한 말씀 들려주시죠.
And BDD, what about you? What is your resolution? We won't let our guard down and we'll make sure that we win.
조합이 아닌가 싶습니다. 자, 오늘 KT 롤스터의 연습
What a humble answer. And that's the end of the interview from Pyoshik and BDD. And back to the space. Thank you.